on top of that cave you are going to see a palace. The wooden lintels are not original, they were replaced. And if you go all the way to the cliff of using those stairs, you're going to see the facade. And if you compare, if you had the chance to compare, the facade, it's no big difference from the facade that we already saw. The back part, it's no big difference either. They are kind of like the same size and the same way built. So one of them is a palace and that other one is a temple. How can you tell the difference? It's very, very easy. You remember how the Mayans were obsessed with time and they were astronomers and everything. Mayans of Tulum were not the exception. They were also good astronomers and they built every single one of their temples facing west, like me. Palaces are like you guys, facing the ocean, of course, but all temples are facing west. And this is a very simple, easy explanation. Let's pretend that my green sign is the blue ocean. And this is the imaginary line that doesn't exist, but we see and we call a horizon, correct? My finger is the sun. The sunrise in this part of the world is of course on the east. Always, always, no matter what. And the sun sets on the west, where the wall is. So of course, the sunrise, it's also different every single day of the year. It comes up on a different position. So the sun moves like this all year around, correct? So the Mayans had to calculate 4 different important holidays. We called it spring and fall equinox, summer and winter solstice. So on the summer solstice, June the 21st, the sun rises right here. This is where we will build one of our temples. So this is like a 3-dimensional calendar as well that show them the beginning, not of the 4 different seasons, but also of the rainy season, for example. So every single temple, it's facing west, plus every single temple has a tiny window carved on the back. Few words, hard to explain, but I will show you a photograph and explain myself a lot better with an image later. The sun comes up and very, very early in the morning, for half of a minute or 1 minute, it matches that square. So when everything is still dark, through the doorway you see like a beam of light, solar light coming through. It's really nice. And as I said, it happens for half of a minute, 4 times every year. And I will show you the photographs, I promise. It's just a simple astronomical phenomena of light and shadow. And you now remember, every single temple is facing west, every single palace it's facing east. And what's that one right there? Do you think it's big enough for anyone to live? It is the only one of the entire area facing north. Now these have made so many tour guides and so many archaeologists fight and disagree, and everybody has their own opinion. The truth is that according to the elements that we have, and I will leave it to you, you believe whatever you want because nothing is proof. We're talking about speculations only. It is not big enough to be a palace or a temple either. Plus, the archaeologists talk about that little tiny roof, the inner walls, that tiny square room on the top, The inner walls show the evidence of the Mayans having a fireplace. They're constantly burning. So it could be an altar, perhaps, because altars have that size, that shape, and they usually have fire as an offering to the gods. The other speculation is, somebody mentioned a watchtower, something so similar. The inlet, the cove, the natural port, it's right next to it. It's the only one facing north, and perhaps they needed that to protect light at night, so the navigations will find a way to the inlet. Perhaps that used to be somehow a primitive lighthouse, whatever port city it is. There's another speculation, and this is from a French Mayan expert, Mr. Lothrop. He arrived first than anyone else, and he was the first ever to excavate Tulum as an archaeologist. And he said that he realized, he was working nearby, and he realized that when the wind blows fast enough, that makes a sound, like when you blow on an empty bottle, right? So that could have been, according to him, like a hurricane alarm system sort of thing. I really disagree, because have you ever been on a hurricane? You don't really need a sound to realize you really have to evacuate. Could be something related to the wind god as well, but as I said, many questions, not a lot of answers.